Hello and welcome to another topic analysis. In this video, we are going to talk about the November-December PF topic, which is resolved. The United States should substantially reduce its military support of Taiwan. So starting off with some definitions. The United States refers directly to the United States federal government. Substantially is very similar to significant, but it's also worth noting that there are quantifiable legal definitions like 50%, 25%, or even 2%. But the important thing is that the definitions that you're directly pulling evidence from need to be specific about a military support or military policy. If your definition is referring to something completely different, like the word substantially in the context of renewable energy or possibly even oil, that wouldn't make sense in the context of this debate. The third definition is military support, which refers to both weapons and infrastructure and can even be in the form of funding as well. So now let's talk about affirmative ground. The first contention idea is that of overstretch. The argument says that right now, the United States military is overstretched between multiple different wars that are currently happening, or hotspots. The first war is Gaza, the second is Ukraine. In Taiwan overall, there's a lot of military activity. And that enables enemy countries like Russia and China to take advantage of that and escalate those key hotspots because they know that the United States military is too overburdened. And so once you decrease military presence and forces away from Taiwan, that enables the government to redirect those resources directly into both Ukraine and Gaza, where we can help our allies. And so once you make the argument that taking our troops away from Taiwan and our military support, it would enable us to pressure our enemy countries in other more important or even more significant wars that are currently happening. The second affirmative ground idea is that of reducing tensions. Reducing military support takes away the key reason for why China is escalating tensions. Although China is currently increasing naval exercises and drills in the South China Sea and the East China Sea, the people on the affirmative would argue that the reason why those drills even exist is because of the United States sending support to Taiwan. And so if you just withdraw all of our presence away from Taiwan, it would take away the probability of miscalculation of even occurring because China no longer has a reason for them to expand or quote-unquote be revisionist because they're just responding to the United States military forces that are inside of the Asia Pacific. But now moving on to negative ground. The first negative contention that we had in mind is that of semiconductors. Right now, all of US defense systems currently rely on Taiwanese semiconductors, but China knows that, and because China is geographically close to Taiwan, there is a growing fear in the US military defense system that they could coerce the TSMC and possibly even take control over it, which would cut off nearly every single part of the technologically advanced parts of the United States military. And so in order for us to keep that edge, we should still have some sort of military support and troops inside of Taiwan to ensure that China does never do this. The second negative contention idea is that of assurances. Currently, countries around the Asia Pacific that are allied to the United States, like Japan and South Korea, are in a contentious spot because right now they are in a military partnership with the United States. But if the United States breaks away from Taiwan, which Japan and South Korea from their perspective seem to be very close allies, they would also be fearful that the United States would also withdraw their support from those countries as well for the exact same reasons that the affirmative is advocating for. And so because Japan and South Korea would then be scared because the United States is withdrawing all of their support, they would increase their own weapons development and possibly even go into the route of nuclear weapons. But everyone knows that states getting access to nuclear weapons is not that great because new states don't necessarily have deterrence or prompt or even very strong regulation. And so if those new states get access to nuclear weapons, it would prompt an arms race inside of the Asia Pacific region, and possibly even where China or even Russia may increase lash out. And so because of those fears, the argument is that we should maintain support and have some sort of symbolic contention or connection to Taiwan to ensure that other countries don't get fearful.